Good evening and a very warm welcome. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. I'm Perini Karnaratna. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Before we head on to your stories in detail, first up is a look at tonight's top stories. Intelligence reveals attempt to destabilize the country by disrupting criminal investigations.
අපි හඳුනාගෙන තියෙනවා. ඉදිරියේ ඔවුන්ට නීතිය දැඩිව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා.
Suspects of Kotahena shooting dead in shootout with police. Two suspects in Gane Mulla Sanjeeva murder case remanded. Court grants permission to question the three accused in Middenia triple homicide. Is the Middenia murder politically motivated? Parliamentarian Dilip Vedarache expresses concern.
රාජ්‍යගේ ඩිපෙන්ඩරේ ඊයේ දවසේ ඩිපෙන්ඩරේ බංකරයක් තියෙනවා ඇතුලේ. ඒ බංකරේ තිබිලා T56 එකක් අද හවුවෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ කජ්ජ කියන පුද්ගලයාගේ මරණය අභිලාෂ. ඒ අභිලාෂ මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා මේ මරණය හරියට හරියාකාර හොයන්න කියලා. සමහරු මතවාදයක් යනවා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ රහස් එළිවෙයි කියලා.
58 criminal gangs across the country. Reward of 1 million rupees on information on T56 firearms. No room for threats to public safety. Minister of Public Security assures full protection. On to the top story for this evening. Secretary to the Ministry of Public Security, Ravi Seneviratne, revealed that intelligence reports have uncovered groups attempting to destabilize the country by obstructing ongoing criminal investigations conducted by the government. Why are criminal gangs operating within the country? What are the reasons behind this? What plans are in place to combat these crimes? During a media briefing held today, clarifications were provided regarding the current security operations. At a media briefing held at the Department of Government Information, the Secretary to the Ministry of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs, Ravi Seneviratne, Defence Secretary Air Vice Marshal Sampath Tuyakonta and Acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya addressed this matter. What is this crime wave? Who is behind it all?
අතරම පහුගිය දවස්වල සිදුවීම් පිළිබඳ මේ සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධ කල්ලි පිළිබඳ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අතර විශාල ලෙස දැන් ගැටුම්කාරී තත්ත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒකට හේතුවක් තියෙනවා. මේ සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධ කල්ලි ඔවුන්ගේ පැවැත්ම රඳා පවතින්නේ ඔවුන් කරන නීති විරෝධී ක්‍රියාකාරකම් මත සහ
In fact, over the past days, there has been a large-scale conflict among these organized criminal gangs. There is a reason for this. These organized crime gangs rely on their illegal activities and certain corrupt political groups. When the legal process is initiated against them and when they are close to being caught, some of them take strategic actions. And we are witnessing such events these days. You might remember that in the past days, there were many controversial events being reported. People were abducted, some were murdered, and the others were beaten and maimed. In some instances, very brutal attacks took place, posing a serious threat to national security. Particularly, events like these Sunday attacks have been re-investigated. After this government came into power, these investigations were resumed, and they are making progress as well. Suspects have already been arrested regarding these incidents. Some of them have completed investigations and are now facing court cases. In some instances, investigations are close to completion and court cases are about to be filed. We are also re-examining these Sunday attacks and we have identified new aspects of the case that were not revealed in the previous investigations. We have received intelligence reports that certain groups are attempting to hinder our investigations and create instability in the country. Therefore, we have launched investigations regarding these individuals and we have identified them. In the future, strict legal action will be taken against them. We will not allow any group to destabilize this country by hindering criminal investigations. We are hopeful that we will be able to control the current situation swiftly and continue the investigations further.
මේ පුද්ගලයන් කණ්ඩායමකට මේ අපරාධ විමර්ශන යටපත් කිරීමට කියා මේ රට අස්ථාවර කිරීමේ උත්සාහයකට අපි කිසිසේත් ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මේ ඇති වෙලා තියෙන තත්ත්වය අපිට තා ඉක්මනින් සබනයෙන් කරලා මේ විමර්ශන ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්න හැකි වෙයි කියලා ඉවරලා මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
What is the police doing about criminals orchestrating crimes from abroad?
Since this government came into power, there has been no hindrance to any drug busts. The individuals involved in these activities are not influenced by politics in any way. However, we are continuing to receive international support. As a result, over the past period, we have been able to extradite criminals from foreign countries. We have issued 199 red notices, 90 blue notices and 4 yellow notices for these criminals. These criminals are not only operating from abroad but also sometimes from prison. We are taking necessary measures in cooperation with relevant authorities to address this. We have identified that the highest number of activities of these groups are concentrated in the western and southern provinces. We have ensured that security in these areas is now intensified.
How can the public provide confidential information on crimes and illegal firearms?
We have provided telephone numbers for such confidential information. The number 1997 is available for people to submit information confidentially. Additionally, if we receive information about firearms, especially related to a T-56 rifle, and if the information leads to successful raids and captures, we offer good rewards. Specifically, we are offering up to 1 million rupees for information leading to the recovery of a T-56 firearm.
Where do the firearms connected to these crimes come from? Are they impossible to trace?
These illegal firearms have been in circulation long before the government came into power. There have been highly problematic situations regarding this issue in the past years. We are continuously gathering information on this matter. However, obtaining relevant documents and other information related to this is extremely difficult. We have informed all 3 military branches about this, asking them to provide detailed information as quickly as possible. It will take some time, as we need to understand what exactly happened. However, I can assure you that under this government, no illegal arms trade will be allowed to surface. I am confident that although these activities have increased, they will be dealt with strictly in the future. Our goal is to create a society where such activities are unimaginable and to make sure that we are working towards a future where these issues are completely eradicated.
The 2 suspects arrested in connection with the shooting at the Galpota junction in Kotahena have been killed in a shootout with the police. This shooting occurred when the suspects were being taken to reveal the weapons that they had hidden. The shooting took place at around 9:30 p.m. yesterday at a phone shop where the victim, identified as 38-year-old Sivalingam Shashikumar, was shot. After being rushed to the hospital, the victim succumbed to his injuries. The suspects, who had committed the shooting and fled on a motorcycle, were arrested later that night in Grand Pass. During the subsequent interrogation, the suspects revealed information on additional hidden weapons, and the police took them to Crow Island in Mattakulia to retrieve them. At that location, the suspects had attempted to fire at the police using firearms. SSP Buddhika Manatunga said that the police were forced to open fire on the suspects for self-defense. SSP Buddhika Manatunga said that the police were forced to open fire on the suspects in self-defense. The suspects were injured in the exchange of fire and were later pronounced dead after being admitted to the hospital. A police constable was also injured during the shootout and admitted to the Colombo National Hospital. The deceased suspects were identified as 2 men aged 32 and 35. A special search operation was conducted this morning at Crow Island in Mattakulia, with officers from the Police Special Task Force's Bomb Disposal Unit also participating. The police said that during the operation, they discovered a live hand grenade and 10 live rounds. Colombo Additional Magistrate Pavitra Sanjeevani Pathiraja visited the site this afternoon to conduct an on-site inspection. Police suspect that the shooting in Galpota Junction, Kotahena, was the result of activities of organized criminal gangs.
2 two suspects arrested in connection with the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva were remanded until the 7th of March after they were produced before Colombo Additional Magistrate Pavitra Sanjeevani this afternoon. The suspects, Don Janaka Udayakumara, the driver who transported the suspected shooter of Ganemulla Sanjeeva from Kaduela to Colombo Magistrates Court, and Hasita Roshan, a police constable attached to the Yaturgiri police, were remanded accordingly. The police provided the court with further details regarding the ongoing incident. As a result, the total number of individuals arrested in connection with the incident has now risen to 5, including 2 police officers. Organised criminal Sanjeeva Kumar Samaratna, known as Ganemulla Sanjeeva, was fatally shot at courthouse number 5 of the Hulstorf Court Complex on the 19th of February.
Ganemulla Sanjeeva වෙඩිතියපු ඝාතකයා පැය 6ක් 7ක් යනකොට අල්ල ගන්නවා. හැබැයි ඔහුට සහාය දෙන්න ආපු කාන්තාව මේ වෙනකන් ආගියතක් නැහැ.
මම කියන්නේ පොලිසියට විතරක් බෑ අපිට මහජන සහාය අවශ්‍යයි. මේවා තොරතුරු ලබා දෙන්න අපි ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් දීර්ඝ විමර්ශනයක් කරගෙන යනවා.
ඇත්තට බුද්ධ්‍යංශ මගින් ලැබුණාද? ඒ වගේම මේ සැකකරු අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තේ වෙඩිකරු අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තේ ඩුබායි වලින් ලැබුණු මේක ප්ලෑන් කරපු කට්ටියගෙම තොරතුරක් මතද?
එහෙම තොරතුරක් ලැබුණේ නැහැ නිශ්චිත විදිහටම මේ ටයක් සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා කියලා. අපිට තොරතුරක් ලැබිලා තිබුණා මේ කොළඹදී වෙඩිතැබීමක් නෙවෙයි ඊට පෙර සතියේ තිබුණා ගම්පහ අධිකරණයට යන්න ගනිමුළු සංජීව ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්න ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට තොරතුරු ලැබුණු වහම මම ගම්පහ කොට්ටාස බාරනිලධාරීට කතා කළා ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් දැනුම් දුන්නා ගරු මහේස්ත්‍රාත්තුමාව දැනුම් දීලා මේක අවලංගු කළා වර්චුවල් එවිඩන්ස් ලීඩ් කරන්න කියලා. අපිට නිශ්චිතව කියන්න බෑ ඒ තොරතුරු ලැබුණේ ඔවුන්ගෙන් කියලා. අපි සාමාන්‍ය ක්‍රියාදාමයේ තමයි අපිට ලැබෙන දත්තත් එක්ක අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරුත් එක්ක අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක වුණා මාර්ග බාධක දාන්න. ඒ මාර්ග බාධකයි තමයි ඔව් පුද්ගලයව අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න.
ගනිමුළු සංජීවට මේ වගේ ත්‍රෙට් එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා දැනදැනත් එයාව ගෙනාවේ මොකක් හරි පොලිසිය පැත්තෙන්ම හරි
ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් විමර්ශන කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් එහෙම සම්බන්ධයක් තුන
The court has granted permission to detain and question 3 suspects, including a police officer arrested in connection with the Middenia triple homicide for 72 hours. The decision was made after the suspects were presented before the Valasmulla magistrate. The homicide took place on the 18th of February at the Kadevatha junction in Middenia. Meanwhile, the final rites of Aruna Vidana Gamage and his 2 children who were killed in the shooting were held today. The funeral took place at the Veerakatiya Madamulana public cemetery.
පහුගිය 18 වෙනිදා මිද්දෙනියේදී පුද්ගලයෙක් පොඩි දරු දෙන්නෙකුත් එක්කම වෙඩි තියලා ඝාතනය කරනවා. මේ පුද්ගලයා ඊට කලින් තියෙන YouTube නාලිකාවත් එක්ක තියෙන සාකච්ඡාවකදී යම්කිසි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ ඥාතියෙක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් යම්කිසි හෙළිදරව්වක් කරනවා ඔහුගෙන් බලපෑමක් තියෙනවා කියලා. ඔහු මේ වෙනකොට ප්‍රශ්න කරලා තියෙනවද ගෙනල්ලා?
ඒ විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
The investigation is currently underway. 2 individuals, including a police officer, have been arrested in connection with this case. We will expand the investigation further, as I believe a thorough inquiry will be necessary in this regard.
සියල්ල විමර්ශනය කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala said in Parliament today that in no way will public security be disrupted.
Investigations are underway regarding each shooting. Some facts are difficult to explain while the investigation is ongoing. Certain facts were revealed through video footage that were released before these people were killed. Special attention is being paid to these cases. Information has been received that the underworld activities that have taken place in various places are currently being carried out as per the command of a certain organized criminal gang. Investigations are being conducted regarding that as well. We bear responsibility for the safety of the people of the country and for national security. We will not allow any disruption.
Amila Chandrananda, alias Narahenpita Amila, an organized criminal who was extradited from India to Sri Lanka, was remanded until the 24th of March. The decision was made when he was presented before Colombo Additional Magistrate Pavitra Sanjeevani Pathiraja this afternoon by officers from the Criminal Investigation Department. The officers told the court that the suspect, who was arrested by Indian intelligence in India, was arrested by the CID after being extradited to Sri Lanka. The investigating officers officers also informed the court that the suspect was detained and questioned for 72 hours under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The officers also said that further investigations are underway regarding the suspect's connections to organized criminal activities. They pointed out to the court that the suspect has cases pending in various courts across the island and that warrants have also been issued against him. The investigating officers told the court that 2 warrants have been issued by the Colombo Magistrates Court for the arrest of the suspect. Minister of Energy, Engineer Kumara Jayakodi, said that initial investigations have revealed that the nationwide power outage on the 9th of this month was not caused by any disruptive activity. He expressed these views in response to a question raised by MP Ravi Karunanayake in Parliament today.
An initial investigation conducted by the committee assigned by the Ministry of Power and Energy revealed that the power outage was not the result of any disruptive activity. For further inquiry, an independent internal committee has been appointed and investigations are already underway. Rather than relying on the answers provided by the engineers, it's good that you all provide information. The main issue here is the need for a consistent power supply. When there is an outage, the challenges faced by consumers remains unaddressed. There are 6.5 million electricity consumers in the country. If bills are not paid within 2 weeks, the power is disconnected. We have also observed many facts as such. Even before this power outage occurred, I had questioned about this matter and held discussions. Give us some time. We believe that we can definitely solve these issues. The CEB is facing a significant issue, which involves a key conflict between 2 unions. This is not a matter regarding a monkey. One issue concerns the renewable energy crisis, while the other is related to the disagreements between the unions. To date, the cost of producing a unit of electricity is 78 rupees, but only 29 rupees is paid for a renewable energy unit. If you are going to stop this, I must ask if you are attempting to cover up the issue of the fuel mafia. In the past, we made a profit of 185 billion rupees over 6 months, but now this has turned into a loss. At a meeting held yesterday, a loss of 40 billion rupees was revealed. As a result, it will likely be necessary to increase electricity tariffs. We restored power within 3 to 4 hours. We will never allow a power outage to occur during the A-level examinations. Sri Lanka is a country that previously endured power cuts of up to 14 hours. And we will never allow the country to return to that level. We are currently conducting numerous studies, and it will take some time before we can take action in this field. What has happened is that the previous ministers who made promises to address these issues have failed to take any steps.
Through our episodes of What Happened to the Village, we bring to you details on a myriad of projects that were launched, spending millions in taxpayer funds just for them to be abandoned halfway through. Well, here are details on yet another project like that.
What happened to the village?
This is a night market complex that was built for the city of Hambantota in 2014 by the then existing government. This market complex, which was being built enthusiastically until the 2015 presidential election, remained a work site even on the night of the presidential election. By then, the road had been carpeted and the drainage system on either sides of the road had been prepared, with the hope of declaring open this complex soon. However, the work stopped midway after the presidential election. This is the current situation of what was supposed to be the night market. A large amount of the people's tax money has been spent on these buildings, which were about 80% completed, have now been used carelessly. It is the people's money that is being wasted. What did the officials responsible for this and authorities do for all these years? What happened to the funds that were allocated for this project? Why wasn't it investigated? Why can't these be used for some purpose instead of just watching idly as public resources and funds are being wasted?
What happened to the village? Newsfirst with the people.
One person died in a bus fire in Anuradhapura. The bus was transporting a group of pilgrims from Ambilipitia.
The fire broke out early this morning near a rest house close to Jetavanaramya in Anuradhapura. One person who was in the bus that was carrying a group of pilgrims from Ambilipitia was caught in the fire. The deceased was a 55-year-old resident of Amilipitia. The Anuradhapura Municipal Council, the Fire Brigade, the Anuradhapura Police and Udamalu Police worked together to control the blaze, but the bus was severely damaged in the fire.
The number of foreign tourists who have visited Sri Lanka so far this year has exceeded 400,000. The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority said that most of them have arrived from India. Tourists have also arrived in large numbers from Russia, the United Kingdom, Germany and France. Well, let's move on to more local news now. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that Sri Lanka is expected to be branded as the next destination for hope, prosperity and happiness. The Prime Minister expressed these views at the National Industry Brand Excellence Awards 2024 held in Colombo yesterday.
The National Industry Brand Excellence Awards 2024, organized by the Industrial Development Board, was held in Colombo yesterday. The event was attended by Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, the Minister Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Sunil Handunethe, the Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Chaturanga Singha, business leaders and award winners.
Our goal has always been to cultivate an environment that supports our local entrepreneurs, strengthens our industries and propels our country towards a more robust and self-sufficient economy. These businesses not only contribute to economic growth, but also play a pivotal role in job creation, innovation and sustainable development. In Sri Lanka, women in industry and entrepreneurship have made notable progress, and I noted that many of the award winners were in fact women, with increasing representation in sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture and information technology. Our country has faced immense economic hardship in recent years, impacting industries, businesses and livelihoods across the nation. In such times, it is imperative to prioritize the development and encouragement of local knowledge and enterprise. Strengthening our domestic industries will not only drive economic recovery, but also reduce reliance on external markets, foster self-sufficiency, and create opportunities for homegrown talent. By investing in local expertise, innovation, and entrepreneurship, we can pave the way for a more resilient and prosperous future. We want to brand Sri Lanka as the next destination for hope, for prosperity, for happiness, and I think all of you are contributing to that.
A book talk and signing featuring Neha Mehta, author of One Stop, took place in Colombo today.
Book lovers in Sri Lanka had the chance to meet Neha Mehta, author of One Stop, at a book talk and signing held in Colombo today.
There are a lot of things that helped for super apps to thrive in this part of the world. Things like the culture, which is more about convenience and not caring so much about what you're giving out in terms of your data. So that leads to data personalization, using it as an alternate credit score sometimes for people and unbanked people. But that also is about digital first interaction. So to give an example, in Indonesia, 90% of their people interact on the online world through a mobile phone. 90% of people. So these are the set of population we're talking about who ventured into the online world through a mobile phone, and for them it's a lot more easier to stay on one of those apps, and that leads to stickiness. And in the Western market, there is a lot of concern about data privacy. We all know about the EU GDPR, and since then there is a question of how much data we want to give away. And that question doesn't come so easily into an Asian mindset. So to answer your question, I would say when you look at Sri Lanka, I would say there's a great potential.
A reverse osmosis water filtration system built in the Digannava village in Nikavaratia was handed over to the villagers today. Well, this was yet another project implemented by Gammadda to make dreams of the most underserved villages in Sri Lanka a reality. Today was a very special day for the people of Digannava in Kurunegala. They finally received something that was only a dream for them: clean drinking water. Many farmers in the village of Digannava in Nikavaratia, located in the Kottavehera Divisional Secretariat in the Kurunegala district, faced a major issue due to the lack of clean drinking water. This had been a problem for the village for many years. A team from Gammadda, along with students from the University of Peradeniya, recognized this issue when travelling to the village and saw that many villagers were suffering from kidney diseases due to the lack of clean water. Identifying this problem, Gammadda took the first steps to build a reverse osmosis water filtration system. Today, their dreams finally became a reality. The project was by Director of Newsfirst Roshan Batavala, along with Regional News Coordinator of Newsfirst Manoj Buddhika and Jatisa Bandaragoda, who generously funded this worthy initiative. The commemorative plaque of the Sri Lanka Navy was unveiled by Sub-Inspector at the Kottavehera Police Station, Upali Bandara, and Lieutenant Commander Palitha Herath from the Sri Lanka Navy. Following a religious ceremony, the clean drinking water system was handed over to the people in a joyous event. The project was generously funded by the Jayatissa and Jayanthi Bandaragoda Foundation. As always, the Sri Lanka Navy provided the technical assistance for this project.
I began my career as a regional revenue officer, hailing from a small village. Through dedication and hard work, I was able to perform well in my examinations and rise to where I am today. I am both happy and proud to be a part of this event. Today we were able to provide financial support for this project, thanks to my wife's contribution. I offer my heartfelt blessings to everyone involved in organizing this project and to all those who will benefit from it. We understood the role of media and never saw the word no in our language or agendas. We introduced the concept of for the people, by the people, and we continue to uphold that principle today. This is not something we do alone. Gammadda serves as an asset for society as a whole. The strength of Gammadda lies in the people of this country, the Gammadda team, and indeed the entire society. Therefore, class, wealth, power and poverty should be set aside, and we should live with a mindset of abundance. We are a nation that has proven our capability.
Gammadda continues to power on, making the voice of the voiceless heard and dreams a reality. Today marks Day 2 of Architect 2025, the annual event organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects at the BMICH. Architect 2025, showcasing architects' work, and also a trade exhibition took place at the BMICH in Colombo and will continue until Sunday. Organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, the event highlights innovative designs and visionary concepts that are shaping the future of architecture. Sirasa TV, Sirasa FM and Newsfirst are the media partners of Architect 2025. High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, says that India is supporting the renovation of the Kankasanture port through a grant of about $65 million. He made these remarks at the 21st International Conference on Business Management.
Organized by the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura, the International Conference on Business Management hosted the 21st consecutive conference under the theme Tech Titans and Turmoil, Leveraging Disruptive Technologies for Sustainable Business Transformation.
India accounts for about 70% of its transshipment handle at the Colombo port. It is about 45% of the total cargo transshipped out of India. This component is likely to increase significantly as we see growth in India's economic size, export potential, and manufacturing prowess. Apart from the West Container Terminal, which is being built through private investments from India, we are also supporting the renovation of Kankasanture port through a grant of about $65 million. We have also sought to turn Sri Lanka into a shipbuilding hub and ship repair hub by investing in ventures both in Colombo and Trincomalee.
A highlight of the Business Forum is its case study publication featuring 10 descriptive teaching case studies that explore 3 critical topics.
The official launch of the book An Invisible History of Early Sri Lanka by Ranjan Chintaka Mendes took place in Colombo yesterday. The official launch of the book An Invisible History of Early Sri Lanka by Ranjan Chintaka Mendes took place in Colombo yesterday.
Or you didn't habitually treat yourself to that extra piece of cake or invisible yet significant moments in your story.
The event was attended by several professors, doctors and other dignitaries. Up next is Corporate Brief. Pyramid Wilmar Private Limited's National Sales Awards ceremony was held in Colombo yesterday. Top performing sales officers from across the island were recognized at this event. The top management of the Pyramid Wilmar Institute and other dignitaries participated in the event. In an unprecedented purge of the military's senior leadership, US President Donald Trump has fired the top US general just moments before his defense secretary fired the chief of the US Navy and the vice chief of the Air Force. US President Donald Trump has fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown, the highest-ranking officer in the country, as part of a major shake-up of top military leadership. Trump posted on social media that he wanted to thank General Charles C.Q. Brown for his over 40 years of service to the country. He said that 5 other top officers were also being replaced. Later on Friday, United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced the firings of 2 additional senior officers. All 3 top officers removed on Friday were appointed by Trump's predecessor, Joe Biden. Hegseth said in a statement, quote, "Under President Trump, we are putting in place new leadership that will focus our military on its core mission of deterring, fighting and winning wars." One of Trump's first acts after being sworn in last month was to fire the first female commandant of the Coast Guard, citing excessive focus on diversity. The Pentagon also announced on Friday that it would cut its budget and let go of 5,400 probationary employees next week. Meanwhile, a federal court in Maryland temporarily blocked Trump from implementing bans on diversity, equity and inclusion programs. Well, that's a wrap of this Saturday's edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Peruni Karunaratna. Thank you for watching. Take care. Good night.